Hello, my kako. My name is Bryan Tolentino, and we're here on behalf of the Hawaiʻi State Archives. It's our kuleana to our kupuna and keiki. We have some distinguished guests here today. We have Mr. Shawn Yacavone from ʻUkulele Friend, and two fabulous Hawaii musicians, ukulele players extraordinaire. This is Professor Byron Yasui. And this is, I want to call him Professor because he is. This is Benny Chong. So we're here to talk story in a real loose format, just like we're in this beautiful living room, by the way. And we're just going to talk story about the history, their history, and just go from there. Okay? So, Benny and Byron,
Yes.
how did you guys meet? How did you guys get together as far as playing ukulele?
Well, first, I can tell you when we met because I remember 1964.
What?
Yeah, 1964, before you were born.
Yeah.
I was at Duka Hanamoko's. I was playing bass with Ernie Washington Trio, and you were with Don Holger. You're just starting out. This was the time to be in Waikiki in 1964, and so we met briefly, but we didn't hang out all those years. And then 1964, fast forward to 2000, I got asked to do a series of concerts I called it The Art of Solo Ukulele, and it was supposed to be Jake Shimabukuro, Gordon Mark, Lyle Ritz, and me,
Mhm.
4 players. And Lyle called me at the last minute and says, "Oh, he doesn't feel like he doesn't want to play anymore." I said, "Well, who can I get at this late juncture?" And he suggested Benny Chong. I said, "Benny, it's a name from the past, from 1964 to 2000." So I gave him a call, and because I didn't know he was playing ukulele, he was
Mhm.
playing guitar with the Ali'is. But then it turns out he tells me he was playing ukulele before he played guitar. So I figured, well, no problem. It's going to work out fine. So I called back. We hired him as a 4th player. Then he says, "Don't you want to hear me first or audition?" I said, "No, I know you're a player. You're a musician. We'll just wing it and we'll go." I said, "No, I insist." So he came to my office at the University of Hawaii. And he played for me, and I remember the song was "My Romance," da 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 da, beautiful. And he played for me, and when he got through playing, after I picked up my jaw off the floor, I put my ukulele away in the case. I'm never gonna touch. I'm not gonna follow him after that. It was so beautiful, and we connected ever since. I became his bass player. I quit
Yeah,
playing
amazing.
ukulele.
No, I remember seeing you when Don Holes was at Aloha Tower. You know, I had a gig upstairs and I was catching the elevator up, and then you were playing. I went, "Who is this guy?" Because I knew you as a guitar player, but I think we were playing a song. I caught the elevator up, I mean, an escalator, and then I caught the escalator back down to go listen to you for a little bit.
Was it Gordon Biersch?
Yeah, not Gordon
No, the
Biersch.
top, the stage.
Not yeah, no. It was at Don Ho's at Aloha Tower. Yeah.
Oh,
You guys played there, right? It used to be
yeah,
Don Ho's, yeah?
yeah. We would go there to help support his business, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
at that
No,
bit.
but that's when I first actually heard you play ukulele. I was like, so I had to come back down and go
Well, I
listen
took
to
the
you.
ukulele there because it was smaller to carry instead of carrying my big guitar and everything.
So
I don't remember that, though, to be honest with you.
no, you don't remember me. You still don't. So that's okay though.
What was your name again?
How did you get started? I mean, playing ukulele.
Well, actually, I was maybe 10 or 11 years of age, and I used to go to the beach. Then I see these guys sitting in a circle, and they all playing one ukulele, and they pass it on. And this guy played one song, they play what they knew, and they went around, came back to the original guy, and they ran out of songs. So the next guy would play one of the songs, not the song he previously played, one of the songs the other guy played, and they went around the circle again. And I
Oh, wow.
watched it. So it was fascinating. So I went home and asked my dad or my mom, I said, "Can you buy me an ukulele? Because I want to learn how to play ukulele." And cut a long story short, I would go down there and ask questions and stuff like that. Then, of course, my mother would say, "Why don't you ask your Uncle Cookie and Uncle Alec?" I said, I said, okay. And I would see him on the Kimo McVeigh show, Lucky Luck show, playing music. And they would do some ukulele solos. And that's how I got started in
Oh,
ukulele.
that's amazing. So how did you get started?
Well, I think around 1954, I think I was ninth or 10th grade in high school. My brother came home from the Marines with a small Martin ukulele with cracks and held together by Scotch tape. No case for it. And he played music bumps. Lee da da dee. I watched him, and when he put the ukulele down, I copied him. He walked away, and he never touched the ukulele, and it became mine. And I
Oh,
was hooked. I would play like maybe 18 hours a day in my whole
wow.
waking hours. I would just play and play and
So you
play.
did practice then?
No, not practice, play.
Right.
Practice, there's a difference. It's an attitude, you know. I tell my
I love that.
students, I tell my students, don't practice, just play. Play to your heart's
Mhm.
content, to you enjoy.
Yeah, I
And I
love
used to
that.
just get up in the morning and start playing and eat somewhere and then play again, just nonstop. And I'm sure Benny's the same thing.
Yeah.
So that's how it started. I learned a lot figuring out on the ukulele and learning about music by listening to, remember Akuhead radio show,
Jay Akuet
Jay
Pupule.
Akuhead Pupule.
Yeah.
And every time a song comes out, I'd grab the ukulele to see if I can accompany it. But the songs were really weird songs like Tennessee Ernie Ford, 16 Tons, Frankie Lane, Mule Train. They were not the usual songs that
Pop
we sing,
songs. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and these are weird songs, and and it's not in tune with my ukulele. Is not in tune with the radio, music, and I had to play in between keys, in between frets, and all that. So that's pretty much how I learned.
I
So
think
ear training.
growing up in Hawaii, I think that was a benefit because we had to. That
Mhm.
was early ear training. There was no
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
YouTube or stuff. We had to
No,
listen to albums
nobody
and
to teach me. There was nobody around to teach me. So
exactly,
you
exactly.
fend for
You know,
yourself.
and that you just learned on your own,
hmm
basically.
hmm
And then of course you added all of the other musical languages to that. I mean, you studied, you became a doctor in music, and so you're always correcting Benny when he's playing all the wrong notes. No, no. But yeah. So when you started in 2000, um, for the concert series, yeah, you said what came from that as far as like your lunches and
Oh,
all of
well,
those
yeah,
things, man.
we used to. Well, first of all, we got a gig at Pacific Beach Hotel playing 3 nights a week. I did 2 nights, and Nathan did
Oh,
one
yeah.
night,
That was after the bandstand.
and that was after the bandstand.
Yeah.
And that was a stretch of about 4 years, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow.
and during that time, we started meeting for lunch. Benny and I at the old Kirin restaurant
Every
on Berkeley.
Thursday.
Huh?
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday from 11:30 till they chase us out to get ready for dinner. About 3 o'clock, they turn off the music and they say, "Okay, you got to go." So every Thursday for about 4 years, and eventually you started. I don't know how you you got you got joined us, and Jake would join us. You brought Halehaku, and
Yeah.
so many other musicians came by, and it was like a big party.
We'd call it school was in session, man.
I
There's
remember.
so many different conversations
Yeah.
going on about technical stuff or just stories with Don
Yeah.
Ho, and because a lot of people don't realize this, but the Ali'is, which you were the musical director, was a separate entity from Don Ho.
Right.
It wasn't, the Ali'is weren't formed to be part of Don Ho, right?
No, we were
So
formed to join the Special Services Band in Washington, D.C. Of the Air Force. And Special Service Band is not like the regular band you have at Hickam or
oh,
we had a symphony orchestra, we had opera singers, we had singing sergeants, strolling strings, we had the jazz band, and we had combos. And Ali's was one of the combos.
so those special services, well, you guys didn't go do stuff.
Well, yeah,
undercover stuff
we
that kind
played
of
at the
stuff.
State Department. We played at the State Department for foreign dignitaries.
Wow.
We were actually being scheduled to play for President Kennedy at the White House at one of his lawn parties, but we know what happened before we could play
wow.
there.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was, you learn a lot about music. These guys, we got to be E5s, staff sergeants in 3 months because you're in a special band, and they reward. Most of these guys have college degrees in music, and they are rewarded because of they came into the Air Force to make $50 a month or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's their reward. You're a staff sergeant. If you re-enlist, you get up to E6 or E7, and then that was it.
You're in the Air Guard too, yeah?
Air National Guard.
So anyway, that's basically how we got in. I would take my leave. I would come home, and I would go see my uncle play with Don Ho, and that's how
Oh.
Don Ho heard of me. Alec would tell my uncle Alec would say, "Oh, you gotta bring my nephew up. He's a good guitar player." So Don, Benny Chong, come up here, come here. Grab the
So you
guitar.
weren't playing ukulele at that time, you or
No,
you
no, I
just playing
stopped
guitar?
playing ukulele when I was 15 years old,
Oh,
and I ended up playing bass with a Latin group, with the seasoned musicians in Waikiki. Leroy Melandre, Dara Aguilera, all these guys that were top-notch
you
musicians.
drinking back then?
Huh?
Were you drinking back
No,
then?
I wasn't drinking that back then. I was 14 years old to 15
That's
years
why I
old.
asked.
And I was sneaking. They would sit me in the back before they would go on, or we would go on. They would sit me in the back and say, "You don't open your mouth. Just wait till we go and play, and then when you play, you go outside." So that's how I got started playing. And the place we played at was called the Menehune Lounge, which later became the Wave.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
where it was.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the old Menehune Lounge, and all our top musicians would come into town. And every time, like Archie Grant, who was one of the top bass players, and this guy Bar Phillips would be playing the Latin set, but every time one of them couldn't make it, they would call me, and I would play.
Wow.
So I was playing bass at that time.
Uh-huh.
I was not a jazz bass player. I was a Latin bass player. So basically, musically, I had to learn rhythms and patterns, and I think the experience I got playing with these seasoned musicians was immeasurable.
Yeah, can
It
imagine.
just you cannot grasp how much
Right.
I learned in just a couple of years. All the times I flunk a test the next day in school, or I'm staying up to 1 o'clock in the morning, and my mom and my dad would get mad at me. "What are you doing up so late?" I said, "I was playing music."
Wow.
So basically, that's how I got my education, all by ear. I never knew nothing about music, and later on, when I connected with Byron to play ukulele, we were just having lunch one time, and I brought this 350-page book of music theory, jazz music theory, and I'm looking at, wow, I want to learn jazz. Byron can help me with this. So I said, "Byron, here's the book. Can you help me?" And he goes like this, turning the pages. So, the 350 to 400-page book, and it gets to page around 300, whatever it was, 320, 290, or whatever. It goes like, you know this. You know this. And he's going by what he hears me play,
Uh-huh.
not by what I actually know. So he says, "We're going to start over here." I look at the book. Man, we almost, I shouldn't have bought the book, And so I go like this. I turn back to page 1, and I turn the book around. I go like, "I want to start from here, page 1. He said, "But you know all this stuff." I said, "Yeah, but if I learn something wrong, I want you to teach me the correct way." And it was a blessing. It was a blessing.
This is
Oh man, I tell
year
you.
2000, right? Or ish?
Well, ish, maybe around 2001
One or two.
or 2.
One
yeah.
or
But
two.
still, yeah, it's never too late to learn, man.
Never too late
The
to
learning
learn.
never stops, man.
I tell you something, it changed my life as far as music is concerned. Because instead of trying to figure out what chord and stuff like that, I already knew the formation of chords. I knew what it sounded like. I knew what I had all those gifts within me that I've learned through just playing by ear. But to learn and know what the advantage of in music theory is like having the tools to build a house.
Yeah.
Or, you know, having just having an education.
Also, you learn the terminology so we could discuss things at a higher level.
different-
he
at a
used to
different
tell me, he
language,
says,
yeah.
By the time we finish, Ben, you're going to be able to talk to the conductors and stuff like that. And he's right. He was right. When we played with the Pops Orchestra, the second time we came back, and I went up to Matt and I said, "Can we change the ending of this song?" And we do a forzando over here, and I said, I'll hold it. I'll cut you guys off because I'm looking back and I'm trying to wait for you to cut the band out. So you let me do the band. It was like nothing. He said, "You got it, Ben." Boom, like that.
Wow,
And that's all due to him.
Yeah, this.
Oh yeah.
I should mention, back to your days with Lyra Melandri and Daryl, you studied congas with Daryl Aguilera. And that to me is so important. You know, that boom pak dum pak that conga feel, because in your ukulele
When he plays
playing,
it,
I can hear the congas in your playing with the thumb, and
He cannot.
that's very important. You know, that separates your ukulele playing from everybody in the rest of the world. Nobody does that. Nobody, you know,
yeah.
because he
So
was
you guys played for the Symphony Pops.
twice. We were
Twice,
featured.
yeah.
We were featured. Yeah,
That's amazing. But you also wrote a concerto for
yeah. That's
Jake?
that's
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
How did that come about?
Oh,
I
they.
mean,
I knew the executive director. Anyway, he called me one day and said, "We'd like to commission you to write a concerto ukulele for Jake, for them to premiere." This is 2015, I think, and the premiere performance was around June of 2015, something like that. And so I said, well, then he asked me my price, the commission price, and he told me Joanne Falletta will be the conductor. She's the conductor of the Buffalo Philharmonic, so she would come here.
Oh, wow.
She was conducting here a lot with the symphony. So, so I got together with Jake and wrote the piece, and Jake was amazing. He is amazing. What a musician. I mean, because this kind of music I wrote was modern music, and he's not used to modern
Right.
classical type music and not used to the symphonic setting. But I worked with him, and God, he worked so hard. One day I worked with him. We met at his house from maybe 8 in the morning or whatever it was, all day, and we took off for lunch. Went to Kamaki to eat something. They came back, worked in the afternoon till about 4 or 5 o'clock. Then I heard later that he went to another studio to work with the pianist. I condensed the score so that it could be played on the piano, so he could hear what the orchestra would be doing
wow.
on the piano. And so he worked with a pianist, Brent Nita, and he went that night from around 7 or 8 or 9 all the way to midnight. So he worked all day on that piece.
People don't realize how hard he works, man.
Oh,
Everyone sees the end result.
I have new respect for him.
Everyone sees the end result, but I know, as far as playing, practicing, he's dedicated to his craft.
While we're on Jake, never mind the concerto, we have the pedal party that you organized at the clubhouse, and Jake brought all his pedals that he brings on tour, and then we jammed. Benny and I, Jeff Peterson, Halihaku, and Jake. Do you know he's a good jazz player too?
Oh, every time he just show up, and he's like a
jamming,
sponge, man.
And
He's just like a sponge.
People don't know that side of him. He's a jazz.
Yeah.
He can play jazz. You
Yeah.
know, as far as improvising. You know, so I just thought I'd mention that.
No, yeah.
I went to one of his recitals when he was rehearsing with Iggy, the violinist,
Oh yeah.
and the piano player, the late.
Yeah.
And he was amazing then. This was before the main concert. And he would rehearse with them so many days a week, with you so many days a week, and he put in a lot of hours. So I told him, I said, I went to his concert, we went to the concert, and after that I said, well, Byron's going to start on your next concerto, and he says, no, no, because the work is so intensive, and it just requires so much of your time. I couldn't do it.
Well,
I couldn't do that.
you know, I wrote in a style that was just natural for me, which is kind of
Unnatural for us.
rhythmic, very complex because I have Latin background too, Latin music background, but he pulled it off. But I told him, if I write you another concerto, I'll keep it simpler and more accessible to the public.
Is that in the future?
Well, I would like to do just on my own, because he's such an incredible player,
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I would like to say that as far as arrangement is concerned, nobody hears that much about Byron's arrangements. So I've been trying to get him to write more arrangements. His campanellas, the way he arranges things for the ukulele is not simple, but it's beautiful. And I keep asking him every year, I bet, you started on something new, And he said, well, I haven't been inspired yet. I hasn't found a song or whatever yet. But I continue to say, would you please write more ukulele solos? Whether they play it now, they will in the future.
Yeah.
They will in the future.
Absolutely. Well, it's being recorded, so it's on tape. So you have to do it now. Because it's out there.
You know who plays one of my arrangements is Mika. Of course, he did
Mika
a whole
Kane,
recital.
yeah.
But Rio Saito from Japan. We met when he was 11 years old at the Willows. We were playing, and he came up to me with his mom and said, "Uncle Byron, can I study ukulele with you?" I said, "Okay." I mean, he was 11. Now he's about 21, and he's an incredible jazz musician, but he also plays classical style, the technique, the right hand technique. And I gave him my music of This Nearly Was Mine, I think, my arrangement. And he learned it, memorized it in 1 week, and he came back and played it for me flawlessly.
Oh, yeah, I was there. I was there.
But he played for my ukulele class at UH, and I shook my head. And he plays it all the time now in Japan for different audiences, Incredible. Incredible. I'm so lucky to hook up with just great players, Mika, Rio, Jake,
Well, I met with Rio back about 5 years ago, just before the COVID.
Yeah.
I was in Japan doing a concert there. And he was just getting into going to start school. He was just started. His first lesson was that week. But he was saying, he told me that, but I'm studying guitar. I'm learning how to read. And I said, that's good. You can transpose it over to the ukulele. The main thing, you know how to read, And I haven't seen anybody that has improved in the last 5, 6, 7 years as much as he has since he graduated from the school and everything.
Amazing.
He is just incredible.
Incredible.
He's scary. He's so good. He's scary.
Sky's the limit with the guy. Yeah.
Sky's the limit with the guy.
Classical and jazz.
Any kind of music.
But you know what I like about Rio when he first started? Because he was, at that time, I think he was taking some lessons from Al Canopin.
Oh, yeah.
So he played all the old school stuff.
That's the old style we used to play.
Not the modern.
Yeah.
I don't want the Jake generation stuff, the Kalegami.
No, before.
He played all of those
stuff
old
from our generation.
And it was cool, and I told him that when he was playing. Even Kalegami, same thing, because he took from Al.
Oh, really?
They played different music at that time, and that's what
The
attracted.
techniques were different. The sounds were the
songs.
The repertoire was different. Yeah, the songs were different.
So I like.
But
sorry. Getting back to how did the Ali'is and Don hook up?
Well, I guess they were having a cutback on the band, so they had to cut that back from like 500-600 musicians, singers, and whatever, down to 350 or something like that. And because we were the new kids on the block, we were only there a year and a half to 2 years or whatever. And so they said, okay, well, we're not going to honor our commitment to you guys. We're going to ship you somewhere else. You know, if your aptitude show you were a good electrician, you could be an electrician.
Oh, wow.
If you're going to, your aptitude on your test show you would be a good cook, you'd be a cook, or vice whatever. You know.
Yeah.
So we happened to be in Washington D.C. at that time. And I said, this isn't working. We got this letter of intent. We're specifically going to play music in the Air Force Special Service Band. So we called up Senator Hiram Fong, who was a colonel in the Air Force Reserve. So we went in to see him and we explained it to him, gave him a copy of the letter. This was on a Friday. Monday, I was driving home to, we were driving to Chicago, then to San Francisco to ship our cars back. That's how fast it is. And he was the one that helped got us. So anyway, for my going home on my leave and playing with Don Ho, for some reason, maybe my uncle, I have no explanation for it. He calls us up, and I never wanted to be a musician because I've seen my uncles have a hard time in music. In those days, Sterling Mossman and all the guys, they all had day jobs. Sterling was a policeman, and they all did music as a sideline, not as a profession, you know. So I think I come back, I ain't gonna be no musician. I don't want to starve. I'm gonna go back to school. So when I was in the Air Force, we were making $45 a month base pay. And then every time we go out to different Air Force bases, we get $150 a night, which we would split $30. $30 was a lot of money in those days. So we would make like $300 a week, officers and NCO club, and we would get $60. So $60 is big bucks. That's more money than what we made on our base pay. So anyway, get back home, and we get this call from Don Ho. He had just left his group. And so, okay, we met up at the Cox Roost in the international marketplace, and he says, "Well, I'm looking for a group, and I'm interested in you guys." I said, "Oh, okay." And our first gig is next week. I said, "Where?" He says, "Midway Island." I said, "Midway Island." So we took a whole bunch of hula girls and singers and whatever, and then the Lees. We're going to be his backup group, you know. So that's how we got started with Don Ho.
Wow.
We played, and all of a sudden he's this more of modern progression type of music playing behind him, you know. And then when it came to Hawaiian music, we didn't play Hawaiian music. So he would sing the Hawaiian song and he would play on his organ, and us guys would be like listening so we could play the right chords, and we would follow him. That's how we learned Hawaiian music there. But when he called up Dionne Warwick or Julie Andrews or these singers, those guys were there. We would have like 3 or 4 endings of songs for ballads and for up songs and stuff like that. And we go 3, boom, 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 with timpanis and everything. And the singers would go, wow. And, you know, Don was really tickled pink about that kind of stuff. So that's how we got started with Don anyway.
Man, that's an
And
amazing
then from there
run.
on, you know, we got to,
That's history.
we went into the recording studio, and we was going to record this song, Tiny Bubbles. So Born Free was supposed to be was Don's big hit on stage, live performance. So on the B side was Tiny Bubbles. So we started rehearsing, and this choir director from the mainland, his name was H.P. Barnum. And he comes in, he says, no, this doesn't sound like that. So he says, Manny, why don't you do this on the bass? Dum, da-dum, dum, da-dum, da-dum, dum, da-dum. And then he says, Benny, you do this. Check, 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 check. And then, Rudy, you play something on a vibe. Bum, ba-da, like bubbles coming up. And that's how we got the arrangement. All of a sudden, within 3-4 months after it was released, it was a national hit. Then you find us in New York doing the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. We're doing the Merv Griffith. We're
Wow.
doing all the major TV shows, plus having our own singer sewing specials. And all of a sudden, now instead of making $50 a week, we make a couple $1,000 a week each. Back in the '60s, which was a lot of money, and that's how we got started, basically.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, it was a
That's some
trying
fun
experience.
times.
All of a sudden, I'm a musician.
So
You making all that kind of money, and I get married, and then I have money to buy cars and pay for doctor bills and send the kids to school and all this kind of
Mhm.
stuff. And I said, "Oh, I can't quit. No, I'm making too much money."
yeah, really.
Wow,
Yeah. So I ended up being a full-time musician.
that's
You know, but
amazing.
if you were back then did like what Uncle Cookie and those guys did, it was you gotta have a day job. But if you lucked out. You worked with Don Ho.
Right.
Before the Ali's, Don had a group like Mike Garcia, Tony B,
Alec.
Sonny Chillingworth, all those
Mhm,
guys,
mhm, mhm.
and they just played in the corner at Duka Hanamoku's on the
Or honeys, right?
Yeah,
or,
Honeys.
Honeys,
but
honeys.
at Duke's, and then we Ernie Washington's trio would play after them from 1 to 3 in the morning, 6 nights a week. And the main stage was the Surfers or Martin Denny's group.
Yeah.
And across the hall was the society dance band like Moxie Whitney or Phil Ingalls. And then there was that big dance floor. So after Martin Denny dance music, then Don Ho in the background, nothing doing there, okay? When the Ali's joined Don, you guys took over the main stage, and that was it for Martin Denny and the Surfers because you guys owned that stage.
Oh,
And
wow.
and
Yeah, we were lucky, but not to say anything to sell Don short. Before we joined him, when I used to come home on leave,
yeah,
he was the biggest draw in Waikiki. I mean, he may not have had the international name as he did later
The
on with
status,
all the
yeah.
TV specials and the hit record and everything like that, but he was a big star in Waikiki. Everybody was coming. The people lined up 4 to 6 in
oh
a
yeah,
line all the way up to Kalakaua, and
yep.
Dukes was in the back of the
Yeah,
marketplace.
yeah.
I mean, we come outside, the guys at the doorman would get mad with us because he wouldn't take a break. And you have 700-800 people or more outside waiting to come in, and they're giving the guys. The doorman would be walking around with wads this thick of $20, $50 bills, and maybe even a couple $100 bills like that. People were giving them
Yeah.
so much money. They were making more money than us. They were, yeah. The waitresses were making more money than us. I go, I better become a waitress. They were making so much money just to see Don. Every time you would see, we'd be on stage playing music, and you see Maxi Judd or Calais
Nevis.
walking in with a table above their head, and then put them right in between all these other tables, shove a couple chairs there, and then here comes the people. They sit right down there. They gave them $50 or more.
And
Oh, it was
I should
amazing
mention
days.
too what the rise, Don Ho's rise to international fame came with the Ali's. That's you
Yeah.
guys were because the kind of music you played was different from Mike
From
Garcia's
different,
group.
yeah, it wasn't.
And no, but then the other thing was Kui Lee's songs. I'll remember you, Lahaina Luna, Days of My Youth. Don sang those songs, and together, Don and Kui became
Yeah.
really big.
Didn't
Kui.
Kui ask you to
Yeah.
play in his?
Kui would call me up. He says, "Oh, Benny." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Can you meet me at the After Hours Club?" Curtis ELK used to have an After Hours Club, from 2 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was $1 a drink. So he said, "Can you meet me after you finish work?" I said, "Yeah." So what's up? He said, "I just wrote a new song." I said, "Oh, okay." He said, "I want you to put jazz chords and all that kind of way you play. You know the way you play." I said, "I don't know. I just play." He said, "Yeah, the way you play. I want you to put all these jazz chords." I said, "Okay, I'll meet you there." So I meet him there, and he plays the song, and I go, "Wow, that's nice." I said, "I like the song." but I think you want this kind of stuff. Yeah. And I'm going all this kind of chords, and he goes, I said, I don't want to do that. He said, why? He says, because your song is simple. You want people to buy you sheet music and you're going to put all these kind of chords on top there. You want just the triads and stuff like that, where they can strum and sing the song.
You remember what song that was?
I don't remember what
Lahaina
song.
Luna or something?
No. It wasn't Lahaina. We're
Yeah.
already were doing
Yeah.
Ain't No Big Thing and Lahaina Luna. And so he listened to me. He said, yeah, but it sounds so nice. I said, Kui, write the song the way you do it, release it the way you wrote it with the simple chords, and you let the arranger arrange it the way
Right.
they want to arrange it.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to feel what I do. They're going to feel what they do,
Crazy.
So, I mean, that's my claim to fame with Kui, But he was very receptive. He said, you sure? I said, this is my opinion, that's all. I mean, you could take it for you can get somebody else to go arrange chords like that on an arranger or whatever. But I wouldn't do it like how you want to do it. It makes sense.
Loving the history of the ukulele and just seeing the connection between the instrument, right? The instrument and the musician themselves. And you can see that, to me, there's this conversation, there's a dialogue that's happening between the instrument and the musician. As a musician, right? I mean, when you're gigging and when you're going out and you probably have your workhorse instruments, you probably have instruments that you play at, gigs just with friends, kanikapila in the backyard and so forth. But those instruments, when you're going through, when you're picking them, what exactly goes to your mind when you're picking these kind of instruments?
What interested me the most in a recording is not the soloists so much, yet they were good, whether it was Julie London or Ella Fitzgerald or whomever. It was the background. What made the song so good, whether it was an instrumental saxophonist or whatever. What made it how the intricacies of the chords that they were using. Even in big band, I listened to a lot of big band, Tommy Dorsey, Jimmy Dorsey, Stan Kenton, Alboleto, a lot of these bands. When I'm thinking about music, I'm thinking like how it's going to flow, how the way how would I do it? How could I express it? I pick up things from listening to classical music.
Yes.
And music is music. I don't care what they say. It's the terminology that sets the different genres separately. The way the beat is, the way they arrange strings and stuff. But in today's music, they arrange it all kinds of ways.
Right.
So basically, when I'm taking solo, it's strictly ad lib. I make mistakes, but mistakes is not because I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I want to do, and when I hear it, I try to play it.
I see. Wow.
And sometimes I might think about it too fast or
Right.
too slow or whatever, and I just don't.
Yeah.
Like I'm having a harder time now that I'm 80
That's
years
my
old.
excuse.
My articulation is not as good as when I
Yeah.
was 20 years younger.
Yes.
So I hear string, I hear horn sections, woodwind sections, I hear everything. I hear rhythmic sections, drums and stuff like that. And like he says, Latin, I play a little bit of thing. So it's basically the experience of listening and playing music and feeling. You get to create what you feel. You can play a note and you can hit it da, or you can hit ba, or you can go ba, or ba. You can play with feeling to express the music the way you feel.
All right, enough talking, you guys. Let's play something.
Bridge. Bridge.
Wow.
You gotta
I
shoot.
knew you were gonna
Yeah,
splice.
I just wanted to cut it shorter.
You guys
Good,
should have
yeah,
rehearsed
yeah.
though.
Huh?
See what you guys should have rehearsed.
Yeah.
You know, Brian just said we need to rehearse.
Okay, so technique-wise, you played. What if you were to play it only on the E string, the melody line?
I would have to pick it because
So can you demonstrate that? Like,
uh,
that was a chromatic thing you did. I forget what it
which
was.
one?
No, it was over here. Something that you would pick, but you played in chords for that song.
Yeah. So I'll go. Okay.
And the reason you can do that is because you're playing the melody on the E
On the
string,
fourth string
and
and
the
the
D
first
string. Yeah. Can you play it slower? I cannot think that fast. Sorry.
Do it slower.
Yeah.
So, and then yeah.
Oh, wait.
And that's a great advantage with having the re-entrant tuning.
That's right.
In
The
most
re-entrant
pop
tuning.
music or songs that are written at a certain tempo, a medium to a fast tempo, usually the harmony is used in choral work, whether it's orchestration, vocals, or it's close harmony. This is all close harmony.
Right.
Now, if you want to do something that's spread like a ballad,
Like on a piano would be like this, right? Like
yeah, they're very simple. If you want to do something like Byron and I, when we were talking about ʻŌlelo, go. Okay. Now,
that's how I would play it.
okay, that's the way most
Right.
people would. I did it twice, like on my album, and one time I played it that way, and one time I played it the open. Open version would be this. Then you go. No.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm having a hard time because my arthritis is. I'm not trying to make excuses, but it is hard for me. Then you go. Oh, it's hard.
No, but still, yeah. That's nobody plays.
When I first started doing this, I used to play it this way. The Byron says to me, he said, "Why don't you just open up the harmony?" I said, "Oh, you mean like this?" He said, "I said that's not easy to do." He said, "That's your problem." He said, "I'm just making the suggestions. You got to practice."
But I remember you telling me once, growing up, figuring out chords. Did you use a pencil?
Oh, eraser.
I thought you erased
But
them.
to-
Yeah,
to
you
hold
know
it.
what I used to do? In those days, you didn't have a Xerox machine, and
Right.
so I used to draw the fretboard of the ukulele,
Right.
and then I used to write the notes on each string all the way up to the 20th fret,
Right.
and then I would ask my uncle, "What is a C6 chord?" So he says, "C6 chord is G, C, E, G, and A." Okay, I didn't know anything about roots, thirds, fifths, or anything like that. I said, so if I circle C, E, G, and A, and I circle all the different combinations of it, that you have a C6 chord? He said, yeah. So I did that.
Right.
C, E, G, A, and I circle all the C, E, G, A's on each note, each string, and then every combination of 4 strings, C, E, G, and A, I would do it, and you have chords like this.
Right.
And they would have chords that you can't reach, so I would have to play like,
Wow, this.
put it, you hold it up, and I would take a pencil with a big eraser, and I put it on top there and hold it in my mouth, and I would go. That's how crazy I was, you know.
You still are, bro. You're
Oh,
talking
no, I just wanted to hear the difference in harmony. It's like playing a C chord, C, E, and G on a
Right.
piano, and you take the C note and you play it the lowest one down
Right.
here, and then you take the A note and you play the 1. But you got to have somebody play the third one because you cannot play the 3, you know.
Yeah.
So and then you go like this, and then you all play it.
That's what
Now,
the
you hear the
pencil-
harmony,
that's
but
crazy.
it sounds horrible because it's so far apart.
Yeah.
But as you get closer and closer and closer, you can invert the notes. Instead of the C, you put the A.
Yeah.
Instead of the, you put the G, you put the third or whatever. And that's how I used to think. It's, then all of a sudden I hear people singing. I would transcribe like take 6 or whatever, the high-lows actually, high-lows and the 4 freshmen. And I would hear ghost notes. When you hear ghost notes are something like when 2 notes are being played, you kind of like subliminally
Hear the other.
another note.
The overtone.
Yeah. The
Oh,
overtone.
it's an overtone.
Yep.
That's what it is, as Byron just told me. It's an overtone.
Wait,
And
you know pa yet?
that's how you get that's how you get to say, oh wow, these 2 notes sound nice. Then I would say, okay, you add the overtone, but you sing it softer.
That's crazy.
Or in
That's
the
brilliant
old days
stuff,
with the Elise, I would play the overtone or the third part on the guitar, and I would sing. And I would play the third part. We had 5-part harmony.
Because
or
you
4-part
play.
harmony because one guy was playing horn or something like that. So that's how crazy I got with the music.
No. Okay, next song.
I mean,
Oh no.
play
you
Wahine
know what?
Kia.
Yeah, play one. Play
Play
one
Wahine,
Genesis song.
Wahine. Wait. Go ahead.
Yeah. Man, that's so
Somehow
cool.
we
That's
ended.
so cool.
But you can play anything in chords.
Mm-hmm.
You can play anything you want. Like I was telling Shawn, the song Affirmation. Okay. Yeah. Oh. So the whole secret is that I'm starting in with this finger, and I have a fourth string melody. Yeah. So I have an advantage. My fingers are so fat and big, I can cover two strings with one finger. You know, so I go. So that's basically what
Chord melody is just assigning a chord to every melody note.
Every melody note.
So like a simple song like what is that? Twinkle Twinkle or something, right? If you played that, well, how would that sound like?
Well,
do the one you do. You know, like how I do.
Mary Had a Little Lamb.
No, you did something that you teach your students.
Yeah, Twinkle.
All in chords. No, all in chords. Like you know, like how I do. I can't think of it. Little Brown Jug. You do something like that. And
well, it's just
yeah, Twinkle Twinkle.
Well,
do that again. Do that again. Slower.
Oh,
slower.
Cool.
Oh. Wait. Well, actually, I'm
illegal,
doing a thing for
illegal
for Ukulele magazine where they're using one of my this
chopsticks.
Chopsticks.
Yeah.
Then I play it again like that. Then I do it in chords.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Amazing.
You know, it's just basically, but these I wrote out for beginners to get their fingers
Just
muscle memory, to build muscle memory within for chord movement.
I can't even use mental memory. What are you talking about?
Well, the whole thing about ukulele is if you can't move and hold chords a certain way, it's going to be more difficult to play a solo, and depending on the key and how difficult the melody is, you know. So I try to prove to myself that nothing is impossible, which some is virtually impossible. But I've tried it. I've tried all kinds of songs, and some songs that I'm not even that into it. I don't care for the melody that much, or the lyrics or whatever. So,
Man,
yeah,
that's
I
so
play it.
amazing. You know, I've learned so much. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there was one Uncle Benny played before and it just blew me away. The Bewitched song.
Oh,
Bewitched.
Yeah.
Play it,
Play
play
a
it.
little.
Oh, that's on it. That one.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know, there's a video out there that Elizabeth Montgomery was married to
yeah, I know.
Asher.
Asher.
Right.
Bill Asher.
Bill
yeah.
Asher. So he builds guitars, right?
Yeah.
And steel guitars. So he was at NAMM, and you played that for him. Just to see his face watching you playing Bewitched on the ukulele was so cool, man.
Well, I played
You
it
were
better
there.
than I
You were
just
there.
did.
So
Yeah.
neat.
Hey,
And Dr.
He recorded it, I think, and he plays it in his studio
Yeah.
all day
Yeah, yeah.
long or something.
Wow.
Yeah, but thank you guys for just sharing all of your mana'o and
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
no, thank you guys. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
So
man.
good. Yeah,
Bye.
so good.
Hey, oh, thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Thank
on behalf of Adam Jansen, the Hawaiʻi State Archives, kuleana to our kupuna and keiki, Shawn Yacavone, Professor Benny Chong, Dr. Byron Yasui, Bryan Tolentino. We'll all catch you guys at the next one. Aloha. We hope.